Hi, everybody. It's me, Corey T, and I'm very excited because today we have Noosh. I've always called you Noosh, but do other people call you Farnoosh?
It's funny enough. Some people they said what, and I say Farnoosh. But when I actually spell it to them, they say, "Oh, that's easy," and they call me in the end Farnoosh.
Oh,
But I told them I gave them the things Noosh or Farnoosh. But when they see the spelling, it says easy, easy. Some people just call me Noosh. I mean, the lazy one call me Noosh.
I'm lazy. I've always called you Noosh.
But
But
this is fine. That's okay.
so I'm really excited to bring Noosh onto the show because actually Noosh has come to the Conscious Creators Master Academy and she's done some sessions with the group there as well. And what Noosh does is she is a hypnotherapist, a therapist. She's a
And my
very
mindset coach.
mindset coach, yeah, and she's one of the most spiritually aware, awake people that I know. And actually I've known her since I must have been 18. I was really young and I was having like the worst time, a really, really bad time in my life when I was extremely anxious and no one understood me. I didn't feel like understood by anyone. And I was going to the doctors and they were telling me you might always be like this. And I was having a problem in my relationship at the time that I had when I was younger with one of my first boyfriends. All sorts of things were happening. My mind was flooded with negative thinking. And Noosh was one of the first people that really taught me about the law of attraction and taught me about how to direct my thoughts and how to feel my feelings and how to see beyond my triggers so that I could understand and start to heal myself more. And when I look back, I mean, I know that if I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't met Noosh because really, like, she was the catalyst that helped to change my thinking so that I could see what was possible for myself. And I really was inspired to think, yeah, I'm going to overcome this anxiety. I am more than this. I'm amazing. And it's true, like I overcame it. And it is because of support with people like Noosh that I managed to. So we've stayed in touch over the years through many different circumstances. I've moved all over the world. I lived in Australia, lived in all different countries, as you know. And many times I've rang up Noosh and said, Noosh, help! I'm going through something again. And she's always been there for me. So yeah, like I say, she's an incredibly bright um and positive person who's
Oh,
been
you make me all blush now. You've been telling
well,
so
I'm
well.
so proud of the people that I know, and you're one of them. And
Thank you. That's nice. I mean, really, but it's true. When we met, you were quite sort of, in some way, it had a bit of naivety in your sort of way of being,
yeah,
and you a little bit accepting if the doctor said something or somebody said something, you actually take that as a, oh my God, the doctor said this. What shall I do now? And I just say, okay, doctor can tell you, you got this or that, but cannot really tell you what's the future is going to
no,
sort of
yeah,
sort out for you, and then you start sort of calming down. Now mind you, I need now a big telescope to see the person that I knew, because you have really moved on, and you're doing, I mean, life is the journey. We go ups and downs, and is we have done different things, different aspect of life. Every time you come, it's not for the same things. Is
no,
you're coming to some sort of adversity in your life. And
well,
you
yeah,
remember what I said about adversity are actually a blessing in disguise.
yeah.
So is it another level for you to grow? So it's every time you want to grow, there is an adversary, because if there is no adversary, let's be honest, we are very lazy in some ways, and we just sit in our big tushu.
Yeah.
We don't want to move. So things like
And
that.
I think whenever you do go through adversity or challenge, an emotional challenge, a spiritual challenge, a physical challenge, or whatever, like I have always felt like you can't do it on your own. You have to reach out for support. You can't expect yourself, because I think this is one thing that I might even do another video about, but in the spiritual community, you're very much given the message that you need to be totally self-sufficient and be okay on your own. But actually the truth is that we need people to show us how to be like that, to show us how to come home to ourselves again. And like when we're going through adversity, it's a extremely lonely experience being a human. And so reaching out for support is actually a vital, it's always been a vital part of my journey. And I think without it, like we're blind. We don't know what we're doing. We're
Because
just
you just go around the circle,
yeah,
and it becomes a vicious circle, and you don't. That is when you get tired, fed up, and then you can get really depressed, and
yeah,
you go down the rabbit hole. So
yeah,
to me, the advice is really when before you go really too down and feeling like that, it's always good to reach out to somebody, of course, she's understand, or she has been there and she has experience, and not
yeah,
to any person that they don't know, because then they can pull you as well, because they say two blind people, they don't know where to go.
yeah,
That is what I would say. So you need to find somebody who can actually help you to go further. And as I said, life is a journey, and you can never, I mean, you're really done so beautifully till now, and but that doesn't mean down the line that something else comes and
yeah. Of
moves you,
course.
shakes you. And but what I love about you, your openness, that you don't say, oh, I'm this person now, I don't want help
No.
anymore. That's good, that is fantastic.
Oh
But
my
some
God, I think everybody who watches my channel knows that I'm on a journey, you
that's
know?
beautiful, that is why they're there, because you're authentic, and authenticity is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
think it's the only way to
congratulations.
be. It's the only way to be. I think like definitely it's too much pressure to hold up a certain image anyway.
Yeah,
When
it does.
you're human and you grow and you evolve and you change and things change and whatever. But like definitely throughout my channel's journey, I've been through so many ups and downs, but I've tried to be as real with it as possible, with everybody, so that everybody knows that there's a real sort of story behind it. But yeah, so actually what I wanted to bring Noosh up was, we could talk about, we have like literally millions of topics that we could talk about.
You
But
can
what
go
we thought
forever, isn't
I
it?
know, but what we thought we would talk about, I know this is really interesting to, it was interesting to me and it's interesting to many people who watch my channel, is how to recognize your beliefs through your relationships. Because as you have heard, everyone, many, many times, your relationships are literally mirroring you, right? So it's basically like the relationship is like, hello, this is how you feel about yourself. And that's all it is. But that's an amazing gift, like, even if it's painful, because you get to learn something about yourself. So I'm going to hand over to you, because you are one of the people that's taught me about this.
Okay. That's anyway, it's nice to be here with your fans, and helping them to see and make sense of what's going on in the world. The truth is, the subconscious mind, that is where everything is, all our beliefs or our habits, and they're all being formed when we were very young, actually from 0 to 6. That is when we are in our emotional body, and we cannot make sense of it, like, why did mom scream at me? And we would like to make a meaning, because it doesn't make sense. If my I love my mom and she's been feeding me, and suddenly she's shouting, or dad is sort of saying something, and at that moment, we need to lie to ourselves to make us feel better. So I just say, oh my God, I must be not good enough, or because I'm fat, or because I'm ugly, or because just put that dot anything you want to
Yeah,
put, and that become, or actually, is like a, in a computer, what you put in there, the programming, it become our program and our belief.
yeah,
And then funny enough, then, because subconscious wants to make us feel safe, it brings situation and similar situation of people, because it puts everything. If your mom shout and says something now, if your boss is shouting, or if your friend is shouting, or your boyfriend, whatever, it goes in the same box. And he said, what was happening? Oh, it's because you're not good enough.
Yeah,
But
and
of
then you
course,
feel a physiological trigger in
oh,
your body.
immediately. It
Yeah,
always, I always say, mind lies. He said, "Oh, there's nothing or whatever," but body never. If you feel this tension in your chest, in your stomach, in your head, or whatever, that means that there is the energy stuck there. The
yeah.
lies we told ourselves as a child is there, and
This is why I always say to people, like, if you try and affirm, I'm loved, I'm chosen, I'm wanted, I'm loved, I'm chosen, I'm wanted, you're not addressing the actual energy that's causing those negative thoughts in the first place. So because the body is what's speaking, the body is like what wants your attention.
I
Um,
mean, the only way you can clear that, access it, you have to go into this, because we are in beta. When we are talking right now, we are in beta, and then we need to go to alpha, which
yeah,
is relaxing, so you can sit down, relax. So I always say to my clients, the best thing is to go just before you fall asleep, because you naturally go there. And then when you wake up, when you're not completely awake and not complete, that's the time that if you want to use some sort of a helping affirmation, or something to help you, that's the, or sometimes I wake up, and just say, today is going to be the best day of my life, no matter what comes towards me, what adversary or what people. I know that I got the intelligence and the ability to see it or change it to a different sort of situation or
yeah.
circumstances.
That's
And
one of the things I love about you, is that you are literally like, I have the ability to change whatever happens into something positive. And like,
exactly.
I think if you might take lots of things from this video, guys, but like, can you take that belief from Noosh? I have the ability to change anything, any circumstance into something positive. Because
And when I say anything, I really mean anything, because I
yeah,
believe and I know that we are powerful. We really got a nuclear power within our sort of body. The only thing we don't know how to unleash it. And as well, we were programmed, like, so who do you think you are? You have to go and ask the doctor. You have to go and talk to your teacher, or you have to ask mom. We always sort of pushing our sort of awareness and opinion, or whatever we feel,
away. Yeah,
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 away. And we're always seeking other people's. That's why always we want validation from boyfriend, from, I mean, that, it's a validation from a mom or dad or friends. But the truth is, if you know in your heart, because that is where it is, the intelligent part of us is sort of behind that little lovely beat of our heart. There is this beauty, there is this goddess, the God, which knows everything. The thing is, really, we don't need to learn anything. We need to remember what we have forgotten.
yeah. We
You know?
already know. It's so true, because you know how you can know this is true? This is when someone says something that resonates with you and you go, "Oh yeah." It's because you already knew it.
You knew, even though it's not happening in your life, you don't, but there is you suddenly feel, I'll tell you, truth sets you free, and suddenly you feel this expansion. And like, if I say to you, if you believe, for example, you're ugly or fat or whatever, just something to that. If I say you're ugly, that sounds resonant with you because you believe you are,
Yeah.
okay? But
Yeah.
look at, when you say you're ugly, you're feeling, that sort of, and it's a lie, because the body shows, as I said, body never lies. Body goes into the body, you still believe, because you have that belief of childhood, somebody told you you're fat, or you believed, or whatever happened. But the moment I say you're beautiful, and listen to the energy, what I'm saying, you're beautiful, you're a goddess, suddenly your chest opens up, because it's true. And that body always to tell you the truth. So I
Yeah.
would say, if you want to know what's the difference with a lie and a truth, get into your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the energy which is coming out of the mouth of the person, so you don't get gaslight. Gaslighting is what it is. because you believe I'm not good enough, and this person start using it. But when he gaslight you, you feel you want to shrink, you want to go under, just disappear. So
Yeah.
that's a lie. And that's why you need to work and clear whatever. And then why did I bring that person in my life?
Yeah.
Because there is a part of me who doesn't love me, who doesn't believe on me. And it's not, you never get what you want, you get what you send, the vibration you're in. If
Yeah.
I'm in a vibration, I'm not good enough, guess what? I mean, you can look gorgeous, you go out and things, and you bring just that sort of bad boy towards you, because you're sending that vibration. We are not just physical and mental, we are vibrational being. So we are
Yeah.
electric and magnetic. Our head is electric and the heart is magnetic. So what we send, that is the law of attraction. When we think of something that we like, we send that into universe, because the thoughts are magnetic and is electric. And then our heart, when you really truly want it, and you bring it.
Yeah.
You bring
That's
it
why
in.
we are creators, because we can direct that with our consciousness. This is why, but I'll just give myself a little plug here. The Conscious Creators Manifesting Academy. No, what am I talking about? The Conscious Creators Master Academy is all about. So if you want to come along, you'll get to meet Noosh again and lots of other people. So that's what it's about, becoming conscious of what's happening in the body, where all this stuff is coming from, so that you can free yourself from it and create a whole new story. So what I want to ask you is, let's think of an example, because there's how do we recognize, what's the actual process of recognizing what's
I'm
going
glad.
on?
That's a very good question. When you bring people, I mean, it's not just one person. You will have, might be your friend come to your life, and then maybe they do, say, cheating, for example, for the sake, they do cheat on you, or not cheating that way. You know what I'm saying? They go and talk behind you, and you don't feel good
Yeah,
that
betray you in some
they
way.
betray. Okay, that's a better word. Thank you. So they betray you, and then you have maybe a boyfriend coming, and they betray you, and and they go on, and then we never think. We always say it's their fault, because that is the word we have told us from childhood. And even when you had a fall on the floor, what did mom says? Naughty, naughty, the floor. You shouldn't be naughty. Have a bit of sweet. Never said, oh, it's okay. And it's okay to cry, or is to feel your feeling. We are always afraid of emotion. So what we do when we feel it in our chest, that somebody even just put it, oh, this is, I don't know, Sam, or this is Christine, or whatever. But if you look, you see a pattern. You say, how come Johnny is doing it, Sam is doing it, Farnoosh is doing it, and who is in common with all of this? Is me. And that really is eye-opening. And that doesn't mean you have to start bashing yourself now. Oh, that doesn't mean
No.
that. That
Yeah.
means there is a belief that you put on in place when you were little, as let's say between 0 and 6, you don't even remember. And this is the way, because universe loves us, really wants us to get, is everything happening for us, not to us. So
Mhm.
when this happens, you just say, go on, Fanush, wake up. This is your pattern.
So I think, I think what a lot of people who were watching this will be thinking, I know I've got a pattern. I can see it. It's happened many times before. I know I've got a pattern. So how the hell do I figure this out? Right. So say someone's watching this and they're thinking, I've got a pattern of meeting people who just disappear, or they don't stay with me, or they're not committing to me. And every time I like someone, they go away again. So how would that person then go?
So that I would say, that I would sort of make that person realize that when the moment you take the responsibility doesn't mean a heavy weight, it means being responsible. You say, okay, there is a pattern here, and it's mine. That's huge. It's the acceptance of it, because the moment you accept, your suffering stops. Then you think, okay, so if it's happening to me, I must have put it in, and I must have believed that I'm not good enough,
Yeah.
because when dad left or mom left or something happened in the past, I thought it was my fault, and I said that. So how can I change it? Then you start, because there is an inner child, really, it's still very much alive within us energetically. And when I work with people and I get them to go there and see, they sometimes even they can see what they were wearing when they were 5 years old or six, or the smell of the food or whatever, because it's very much, when we go in, when there's a trauma, which means we don't feel safe, we don't know, we cannot sort of defend ourselves or run away, we either freeze, or we drop ourselves and have a tantrum, or one of these things, it happens, so freeze, what do you call
Fight,
it?
fly, or freeze.
Yes, that, or fight or fly and things. So then you become very angry person. That is your, when somebody does that, you go anger. Somebody become freeze, you become quiet and get in there. So it's a different way. As I said, these three sort of quite known to us that we go through when we have a trauma. So in that case, then you just say, okay, now awareness is everything. Now you're aware of your pattern.
Yeah.
Now, if you aware and it's mine, which is very good, because if I needed to change you to make me better, oh my God, would have a hell of a job, because I cannot even
Stressful.
change mine. It would be
And
hard.
that's what most people are doing. That's what I
Yes,
did
that's
for a
what
very,
people
very long
doing, but
time.
they were pulling, and then we say, oh, you have to change. She has to change, or he has to change. And if he's not changing because he doesn't love me, no, darling, it's not because he doesn't love, because there is another child within that person that is about. It's never two of us. It's always four. You are
Parts of us, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I can you imagine too many people, too many, it's a crowd. So what we want to do, let the person is, I always say, get the message and let the messenger go. So don't shoot the messenger. And now that you're aware of that pattern, and he said, there's a little child within me. I always, but of course, I would say use a practitioner, because when you go there, you can traumatize yourself, because you
That's true.
identify with that child, and you
Yeah.
go to crying and
Yeah.
screaming mode, or freezing, completely shaking. So I would say you need at that time to find
You need the
somebody.
guidance, especially if you've not really done this before. I think, like, if you're listening to this and thinking, I've still got no idea what to do, I'm just gonna what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, and you can tell me what you think of this process. But what I do whenever I feel triggered, but whenever I have a trigger, I'll think, okay, first of all, I'm noticing that I have a trigger. I'm noticing my anger. I'm noticing my anxiety. I'm noticing that I'm closed up or something. So I first of all go, okay, I'm triggered. Immediately then I know that the thing itself has lost its power because I'm aware that I've become conscious of my
Very good, yeah.
pattern. So that's one reassuring thing that I think you can know, guys, is that when you start to
I
become
would
aware,
say, actually, when you find out, you can take it, start take knowing, as I said, is everything. Now you take a deep breather in.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
come from the wherever you travel in the past, it comes back into you. You come back by breathing, because the body is here, okay, and
Yeah.
you breathe it. And then I would say use your toes and feel grounded by moving your toes,
Yeah,
and
get
you feel
grounded.
grounded. You're breathing, and then you just give yourself a bit of openness, so you
Yeah,
can think straight,
yeah,
and what to do. Do I sort of, how can I solve that? Do I need to go and see somebody? Because sometimes it's so strong, you feel it, you
yeah,
wouldn't be able to do it. And sometimes if it is not, you can at that very moment what to do, that we have talked about with you, to go for a run. Yeah, physical,
yeah.
something physical.
Well, yeah, I think in those moments, like you say, like what my sort of practice has been like, okay, I notice I'm triggered, and then this. By the way, I just want to say, like when you first start this, it's really bloody hard because your inner child is going, "Ah, this is too hard," and you get hijacked. So like it takes practice and practice and persistence. But like what I do is I go, okay, I am triggered. and I feel this sensation in my body, which I'm clearly resisting, and I'm noticing these thoughts, and I try and do something like just even like tapping my hands or feeling my hands or feeling my feet to bring me into my body again.
I
And
would say
sometimes
always go with the breathing really
I'm
brings you back
breathing.
in you,
Yeah.
but much
And
faster.
I try to sort of get myself to be grounded, and sometimes the way that I do that is go for these little short runs, which has been revolutionary for me because it literally will calm my nervous system down.
You know, because it
Um,
produce endorphin, and
yeah,
endorphin is a good hormone things. So it brings you, calm you down, so you can look straight and think more straight, and then you come back
yeah,
into yourself. So you're not involved with that little part of you who didn't
no.
know what to do.
And then I think the other thing as well that's really important is to acknowledge that, yes, I feel uncomfortable, but I'm safe and it's okay that I'm uncomfortable. Because I think, like, if we push our feelings away and we go, no, 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 I can't feel this, I can't feel this, then you're running away from the trigger. So,
And
like,
that makes it even worse.
and that makes it worse. So, I think what I tend to do is sit with it for a while, sit with it and say, yes, I can sense that I'm triggered. I'm
But,
aware.
but before you sit with it, because somebody said to me, if you don't know and you sit with it, it really overwhelms you. The best
Yeah.
thing to
Yeah.
do a bit of breathing, a bit of even moving your hand like this, if you don't want to go running, or if you are walking, something you need to move your
Move
body.
the energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
move the
Move.
energy, and that then after that you can sort of find what you
Yeah.
want to do.
And then I think from there, I can look at it in a calmer state and go, okay, what thoughts was I thinking? What what was I what's the real feeling here? And I like investigate. I don't overthink it. I feel it. And I think, okay, what is this feeling? And then I name the feeling. So it can be for me, things have come up like I don't feel cared about, or I feel unworthy, or I feel insecure. Just naming it makes me go, oh, wow, I feel like this. I didn't realize I felt like that. I was blaming the other person, but actually, I feel this feeling which I can love and be there for. And from there, I say to myself, what's the most loving thing that I can do for myself now? What's the most compassionate thing that I can do for this feeling, this part of me that's clearly so scared. And
That's
and
right.
I and I think, what can I do for that inner child within me that's going to make that part of me feel like I've seen you. You're not alone. And I, as the adult, Karina, am with you. You are not alone anymore. Because that's what we needed, I think, when we were younger to go, for someone to go, hey, I can see you're scared and I'm with you and it's okay. And you're so brave
Exactly,
feeling
it
this
is
feeling.
okay because nobody, I mean, none of us been ever sort of aware of our emotion or have education for emotions. We always try to do something. Don't cry. Don't do this.
Yeah.
Have this. Let's go for work. Whatever. We try to push it away. So that was the parenting they knew, our parents and their grandparents and all that. But now this new generation, hopefully now what we understand, emotions are, it's okay. That is why we're human, and is validate. We have to validate it. It's okay to cry, but if you cry, it's not going to kill you. If you get sort of angry, it doesn't make you a bad person. It's just the emotion. But when
Yeah.
we suppress it, it becomes like a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
That is when things goes the other way.
That's where we start projecting and blaming and judging. How many times have you judged your specific person or someone and thought they're bad, I hate this about them or something, and you're doing that because you feel hurt, right? So it's about being able to say, okay, I'm angry at this person, or this person has triggered me or annoyed me. What is my feeling? What is the feeling? Is it hurt? If it's anger, usually there's something underneath the anger that the anger is
Or
protecting
anger
you
is
from.
underneath of it is always fear.
Yeah.
And I tell you, like if you're walking in the street and a car comes at you, you go, it's a fear at the beginning. But then if it misses you, you get angry.
Yeah.
So it's always a fear and then turns into anger.
Yeah. 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 And so being able to recognize, like, what's that feeling, and validate it. And I think there's two things that help me to validate my emotions. One is saying, of course I feel like that. Of course I feel like that. Because of course anything. Of course I got what I wanted. Of course I feel angry. Of course I'm hurt. Of course that thing happened. Of course it's like acceptance. And then the other thing is that makes sense. So when I say to myself, it makes sense that I feel like this. It
So you're
makes
giving
sense.
a meaning to it. As I said, we are always meaning
Meaning.
making machine. And if we don't understand it, that's why you say, oh, it doesn't make sense. And then the brain goes, like a washing machine, and it goes crazy. So the best thing is, yeah, it makes sense. And what if that makes sense? What if there is something underneath? I love that what if. It always gives you a leeway to sort of look at it in a different way, not the way you always look at. So yeah, that is another way of uh, understanding. That's okay. It's, of course, I'm a human. I
Yeah.
mean, I know I'm a goddess, but for now I'm human. And it's
Yeah.
okay to be.
It's okay to feel what you feel. It's okay to feel what you feel. I think like the thing is that when you're really hijacked by an emotion and you're really triggered and you're really like you basically someone described it once as like, here's your I don't know if I'm gonna do this right. Tell me if I'm doing it right. Here's your amygdala and here's your sort of logical reasoning brain. And when you're triggered, you lose that and you're just completely in the trigger. And
Yeah,
so it's all meshed up into one and you've lost your logical reasoning. So until your physiology calms down, you won't get this thinking back. Right.
yeah.
So
And you're ready to fight.
yeah, and you're like, ah. Sorry for anyone who is listening to this on loud and they're like, why is Karina being so loud? But yeah, no,
Because we love the subject, it's
yeah, we're
exciting,
just
and
passionate
it's
about
lovely
it.
to help people.
Yeah,
That is my mission. I think that is what I always do, because I do meditate as well, that. And among lots of other things, breath work and whatever. But I always sort of, when I meditate, I always ask universe if I can be of any help to anybody's life, because that is the most pleasurable things, helping each other. That's why
yeah,
we are here. It's not just,
yeah,
you're connected, really. And when I help, I get so much out of it.
yeah,
you know
yeah. And exactly, and you're so good at it as well. So, like, what I was going to say was, when you're hijacked and you've lost your logical reasoning, like one of the you have to accept that that's the way it is. You've been hijacked. It's unlikely that you're gonna think of the answer or understand everything when you're really hijacked with cortisol and adrenaline and stuff. So that's why let it be there, let yourself be triggered. Oh well, it's happened now. So like go and do something that will allow you to feel your feelings. If you want to move the energy, go for a run, shake, scream, whatever you need to
Put the
do.
music on, dance,
Yeah.
whatever it is, because
And
there is no emotion stay more than 90 seconds. The
yeah,
rest of it is our resistance
resisting.
towards it, that
Yeah.
it goes for days and years, even can I said, she did that to me. It's because we resisted. We didn't accept, okay, what she did or he did was not very nice, but he's not here, she's not here. I'm doing it to myself, and I'm beating myself. And that's the craziest thing. That is insanity. And we are in it all, you know.
Yeah, like that's why you hear like when I mean many of you might be doing this and I've certainly done it and you might see it in other people when someone's talking about something that happened years ago or I'm not friends with this person because of this thing that they did when I was 15 or I'm not friends with this person or I can't talk to that person anymore because of how they hurt me. They haven't let those feelings be expressed and released and they've held on to it and held on to that anger, which is only hurting them at the end of the day.
And remember, as well, you remember, I mean, understand that emotion is energy in motion. And if we could not express it at one time, what we do, we suppress. It's either express or suppress. So we suppress it, and it's there somewhere in our body. If it's anger, usually goes towards our liver. I mean, Chinese mapped it beautifully. If it's fear, it goes into our kidney, and it just carry on, and there is a part of our body is holding that energy,
Yeah.
and we need to use that. And I mean, that is, I do the EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping,
Mm.
as well as like acupuncture without a needle, which you tap on your sort of meridian point, and that's a good way of releasing.
Yeah.
So that is another way we can people can learn to do the tapping. I would say for a small little things upset, that's I always teach my clients as well to do it. But when it is much deeper and it goes rooted to a childhood things, still I think you better work with somebody else to
Yeah.
keep the space for you.
Yeah, because I think it's true what you say. Like, we can tell you all these things that you can do in the moment, to help you to recognize, okay, I'm feeling insecure, I'm feeling hurt, I'm not cared about, I'm feeling these things. Recognizing your feeling is a really good thing and really important thing that can really ease you and help you to learn to validate yourself, which will be incredibly
And
soon.
understand
But
this at the same time, understand what is the belief underneath,
yeah,
because we don't remember what belief we made when we were little. So this
no.
is a good opportunity. So honestly, these people that they look horrible and whatever, they're in a way they're angel in disguise, because they bring that from us, and then oh my god, I never knew I'm feeling so much jealousy inside me, or I didn't realize I feel it's so inadequate, or whatever
Yeah, I
it is.
didn't realize that I felt, because when you recognize the feeling, you can ask yourself, well, what must I be believing about myself to be feeling that? That's the really good question that you can ask
Yes.
yourself. What must I believe about myself to be feeling this emotion? And there you'll find a belief, right? I'm not good enough. I'm never chosen. Relationships don't work for me. I'm not worthy. Whatever it is, people don't care about me. Right, what must I be feeling to feel this feeling? There you go. You're going to have your belief. But from there, knowing is just knowing. What can you do with that? You know it, and
But
that's
no,
great.
again, you don't say it just knowing, because knowing is power, really, is
Yeah,
understanding is power, as long as you don't throw it at people. So it
yeah,
makes you to sort of hold it. So, okay, now understand it. And then you write it down, and you got this, as every time one of them comes up, you can write down what are the beliefs. And
yeah. And
then
then
you
I
can
think,
start sort of, so instead of going to class to a sort of practitioner to find that belief for you, you can at least do that part yourself.
yeah,
Now you can get the help. If you can tap and clear some of it, yes, but sometimes it's quite
yeah, it's
strong in
quite
there for
strong.
being there for years.
And I think, like, when you know it, that's one thing, and that's really, like you say, it's really powerful information. But then the change happens when you start embodying a new belief. When you start telling yourself, okay, I can see that I've believed that, but I don't want that to be true anymore. So I'm going to create a new one, and you start embodying that new belief. But what I was going to say as well was that if you try and do this on your own and you experience those feelings, and they can be really overwhelming, like you said earlier, you can re-traumatize those feelings and re-traumatize yourself. So that's why it's important to work with someone who's experienced and who has an understanding of this, because they can guide you through the process of learning how to validate and feel those feelings, which you might not be used to doing, um, and help you to guide you to ask you the right questions to get those answers out of you that you already know, but you just haven't been able to ask
No, because
yourself.
then you feel overwhelmed at that time. When you're
Yeah.
overwhelmed, you can't see the tree from the branch. You just go all like a
The way I
around.
describe it to me was like, look, I've got my hand on my face. This is the feeling and the belief.
Yeah.
And I can't see it. I can't see. Why can't I see it? And then,
And then you just somebody comes and just take your hands, and he said, "Now I can see," and
oh
that's so
right.
easy. But because it
I
was
didn't
so
realize.
close,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
too close to us. We're too close to these feelings and there's so much part of our, like, psyche and the way we operate, that it's like having this and saying, I know there's something on my face, but I can't see. I don't know what it is. Can anyone tell me? And then you go to a practitioner and they're like, yes, look.
And
This is
and
what.
you can say, "Oh my God, how come I never saw that before?" But
Yeah.
again, as I said, the other thing is, these beliefs, every belief we got, we makes created like a lens in our eyes. So we just got this sort of blue lens or gray lens or red lens, and we see everybody, anything through that lens.
Yeah.
So if you got angry person, we always look for angry because it's red anyway, and we find all the angry people in there or whatever it is. So we need to, when we aware of it, then we can change that. And let me give you an example I did actually for myself. Might help with the people, but by that time I was a practitioner. I knew. So, but anyway, I think it's good to mention. One day I read. Oh, actually, I wasn't a practitioner. I just started, but I read a book, and in that book it said anything that you feel or emotionally or whatever is there is because there's a belief behind it, is underneath of it. And it says that if when you find that belief, then you can examine it if it is true or not. And mostly it's happened by done by a child between 0 to 6, and you can see when it comes out. So anyway, my I used to get anxiety as well, not ordinary, but if somebody like my husband needed to come at certain time and he wouldn't come and he wouldn't phone me, and it would go for sort of more than half an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, then I would have feel, oh my God. And I kept seeing this scene again. It's my thinking way of thinking that he's dead. He's by the side of the road, and that made me more anxious, you know.
Yeah.
So when I read that book, it says examine it and do not, accept anything till you really find that. So find that belief. So what I said one day, I said, look, why am I feeling like that? And immediately, the ego, I always say the ego. So he came and says, because you love him, you love your daughter, you love your, husband or whatever. And I said, yeah, I love them, but I don't need to feel like that to say that I love them. And why am I doing it? Oh, everybody does it. I said, maybe everybody said, I want to know why am I doing it? So I didn't stop whatever my ego was trying to sort of put a blind over my eyes, not saying. And I kept asking, and he says, but that's the way life is. And I said, I don't care what life is. I do not want that, because I see when I go into that mode, and if they truly have something happen to them somewhere, if I get a phone call and he says, come and pick me up or come and go to the hospital and think, my legs are like a jelly, I will not be able to do anything. This is not loving. I'm destroying myself, and I'm not loving towards them. So when I kept asking and I did not listen to all this argue my ego was saying, suddenly, you know what the belief was? It
Well,
just popped out of in my head. Is because if you don't believe that they are dead, they're actually going to die. And I just said, how old was I?
oh right, yes. See, that's why I think that's why people find it so hard to find their beliefs as well, because when you say them out loud, they sound so childlike that you
It's
in your adult mind
childish. I
would
mean,
never think it.
you would have never identified them actually, because it's law of attraction. If you think they're dying, then they actually might die, because you're bringing that sort of belief all the time. But of course, it's done by a child. And so when I understood that, when I got it, and I said, oh my God, and I wrote it down, and I put it somewhere I can see. So of course, because I've been running that program for so long, it was not one, as I find
No,
that it's done and that.
yeah.
So I would go into that as soon as if they would not phone me or anything, and I would just feel my body goes like that, and then my higher self would come instead of the ego and would say, I always put this hand and said, hello, what are you up to again? Are you going to to this trick again? And I start actually talking.
Yeah.
They were okay. And bad news travel fast. If you're not hearing, they're having a hell of a time somewhere, and you're killing yourself here. And it was exactly like that. And little by little, within about a month or so, because I was determined, I'm going, I, and then my daughter moved to London, and I was not even, fear anything, and I was concerned or things. But whenever, and another thing I would do, if I felt a bit anxious as well, I would see her in a beautiful sort of light, circular light around her, so as a protection, rather, because I had a choice to go into my fear and beat myself and make myself, or send her, sort of put her in the light. And I know we are that powerful, we could do that.
Hmm.
Both of them is imaginary, really. None of them was real, but that makes me feel better than that one.
Yeah, so
So that is
you chose
you
which
choose.
one.
That is called free will. There is no other will. You choose to go that way or this way. It's either positive or negative, you know.
Yeah, the both of them, you're creating your own reality by literally choosing which thought, like it's as simple
You
as
want
like
to
we're choosing.
entertain, yeah.
Yeah, we're like you've got two things that both of them are made up. One of them is that your
One
daughter,
is fear, one is
yeah.
fear-based. So
So we
it's telling you about something that is not happen, or the other one is fate, I would say. That no, she's fine, she's okay. The most thing is, if I can ask phone and sort of talk to them, but if you can't, then just put them in a beautiful light, bright light and protective light, and you're sending love. And as I said, we are electric magnetic, so they will receive it.
and for no other reason as well than it will make you feel better.
Oh,
Like
definitely. No
you
other reason, because I actually have experience. As you said, you talk about my spirituality. I have, and I believe it is true. It is. Of course, for somebody who has never tried it and never thinks it sounds a bit sort of I'm just making it up, but I actually have gone. But I'll put that for another episode talking about,
yeah,
but it does really work. So it's your choice. You can send love to somebody, and is the energy, because it's energy love, isn't it? And I can say fear, which is and both of them is goes towards the person. And the one you, if you got already fear in there, makes you more fearful, and if you're more loving, it gets into you or protect you even more.
yeah.
So
I think I've definitely struggled with doing this in the past because when my fear has been so strong, I'm like, oh my God, I can't
uh,
get out of it. But then when you calm that nervous system down and when you allow yourself to experience and express what you're feeling, and then you validate your feeling and your nervous system calms down, then from there, not like because I think this is where people get confused with choose your thoughts. Like I think what people don't see is that in order to choose positive thoughts, you have to first feel and express the feeling that's in your body. Otherwise, you're just putting like, trying to cover up trying to fix a broken bone with like a painkiller or something. Like it's not going to work. So you have to like allow yourself to acknowledge the feeling. From there it will be much
acknowledgement, acceptance, that even
yeah,
with the tapping you do, we always accept. Even though I'm so angry, I deeply and completely accept and honor my feeling.
yeah,
That's it. And then I give my body permission to relax. So
yeah,
acceptance is everything. I would
yeah,
say one thing, if you want to take from this conversation we are having, acceptance.
acceptance,
Always accept. And even though, as I said, the things which has happened is bad, is not good, even when you accept, it doesn't mean it makes it better, but you actually come to reality with it. Like if it's outside raining, and I kept saying, I don't want it to rain, I don't want it to rain. I mean, it's not going to stop the rain, is it really?
no,
But when I accept, okay, it's raining, now what do I need to do? If I'm, for example, done my hair and I don't want to go, maybe I need the umbrella, maybe I will cover. I don't know. You come with a solution, because we got a beautiful mind as well. Remember, if we
I
don't feel it with those crazy thoughts,
yeah,
honestly, the answer, the solution always come.
I think that's it. When we're in stillness and when we're in acceptance, we already know the answers. We
Yeah,
already know. Like there's no thinking or working it out to be done. Literally, it's like
it pops up almost like
Uh,
this.
yeah. And so when you can like, okay, I'm triggered. I'm going to acknowledge and accept my feeling. I'm going to tell my this feeling that it makes sense that I feel like this, right? It makes sense. Even if it doesn't, if you can't logically think that it makes sense, trust me, it does make sense. It always makes sense why you feel the way you feel. And then so it makes sense that I feel the way I feel. Acknowledge, express, feel the feeling, watch the reduction of it. And then you will naturally think and be able to choose
You know what it
positive
is?
thoughts.
It's in a way because you become authentic and true to your feeling. Because if I'm feeling this feeling, by accepting it, okay, it's like if I got this room, and if I don't see the dirt in the room, how would I go and cleaning it? I need to see the dirt first. So
Yeah.
accepting is, I see, I acknowledge the dirt, but doesn't mean that I have to sit in the dirt.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
come with a solution, and always you come with something, and then you can get on with the clearing it, and before you know, You're just in the right place till the next
Yeah.
one comes.
Acceptance is the key. Like, of all the things that I've ever learned in the last sort of, especially in the last 2 years as well, like, learning to acknowledge, accept my feelings, not push them away, not suppress them, but feel them, and then naturally move into choosing a positive direction has been like completely, it's changing me. It's changing my whole life. Like, I know that that's true.
And
And
as well, it's true. And the thing is, if we know the pattern, like if I, when I get to something maybe problematic or something that is not, adversary, if my pattern is, for example, I get my phone and I start looking with the phone, or I'll go and do a shopping, then when I become that, next time it happens, we just relax the way we said, we breathe, we bring our toes together, move the things, we ground ourselves, and then we maybe move our body, and then you just say, okay, how can I do it differently? Because there's a pattern, you just need to break the pattern. So okay, usually I take this phone, I'm not going to do it. Or what shall I do? Of course, just if you sit there and look at it, you end up taking it because it's strong, It's just, so what shall I do? Oh, maybe I can go and make myself a cup of tea. Or maybe I can go for a walk.
yeah,
Whatever
something
is
else.
easy is up to you. Well, how would you do that? But I would give myself permission not to do that in immediate situation, or go shopping, or phone a friend and
Yeah,
start blah, talking, and then before you know, you feel a bit better, but the thing is, it still is there,
still
and he's
suppressed it.
waiting for next one and next one.
I
And
think
but when you see
sometimes
it,
I think sometimes with talking about the thing that you're triggered about with someone else can in the moment be quite regulating because you're venting, but actually you're not actually dealing with the feeling of the feeling, you know?
you've never told anybody about whatever it is, it's good to vent out, saying it. But if you know about it and you have kept telling your friends, I would say don't, because subconscious, when you're saying it, subconscious is listening. Your subconscious is like a child; it believes what he happens. I mean, even if you think about that person who did that things, you immediately see your body start sort of feeling, goes into
Yeah.
the tension, because that subconscious is inside our body, all part of our body. So the best thing is, if you want to talk, I would say tap on your face or on your body. So you're telling, I am talking about it, but I'm not in it. That was happening in
Yeah.
the past.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get bigger and bigger and bigger, because every time you talk about it, you become more sort of trigger. Every time it gets bigger, it
Yeah,
becomes
it
a little,
yeah.
from a little spot, it gets bigger and it become a
You're
big
talking
knot.
about what
And
you don't want.
yeah,
You know, and then you're attracting more of what you don't want. Yeah.
yeah,
So I think that's, yeah, that's a really good point. And I'm just conscious of the time, and I just want
yes.
to ask you before, because I hope this has been really useful to everyone, and I want to ask you, Noosh, as well, like how people can, contact you, what you do, what you offer people, so that they know.
Okay, yeah, I sort of, I mean, that's my passion, working with people emotionally, because we realize we are society everywhere, globally, that we are not emotionally intelligent. We are very intelligent in many, many ways, in business and things like that, but we are not aware of that part, and that is there from 0 to 6 that we have taken because we forgotten. So I work with subconscious mind. And how would I do that? I am a clinical hypnotherapist, professional clinical hypnotherapist. I do EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. Again, what it does, it goes into the subconscious mind, and NLP, neuro language programming, and matrix imprinting, anything that is, I find that is a good tool. I've learned it, and while I'm working with, I use a combination of them, and because not everything fit everyone, we need to see what is best for the person that's sitting in front of you. And so my company is called, Liberate Your Life, is LIBER 8 Your Life. So it's www.liberateyourlife.com, and so you can find me there, and you can maybe put the email or my number somewhere, that
Yeah.
if they want anybody to sort of get in contact, then they can. And I usually give actually sort of 20 minutes free complimentary consultation, so there is no sort of anything attached to it. You can just talk and we see if really we are a good match, if I can help you, and then I'll give you my honest professional opinion how to go about it.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Nice.
It's
Well,
lovely coming to your things. It's lovely talking, really, and I hope really people have picked something, some tools, some
yeah,
understanding
it's really
from.
like, when you watch these long videos, you're not gonna probably take everything, but you might take little bits and go, oh, I didn't realize that, or I'm gonna try that. And just it might be one little thing, and that's good.
It's
Um,
good, and it's like when I sometimes listen to some nice books, that I know is to feel the truth in it. When I kept listening and said, I never heard that before.
yeah,
Because you see, the mind works. Sometimes we are talking, and suddenly a thought comes, and suddenly we go somewhere else, and then we come back. So we miss that part. So it's good
yeah,
to repeat and listen, and yeah, to get a bit more awareness of what's going on.
yeah. Yeah. So, right. I'm gonna stop recording, but thank you so much for coming on, and also just a reminder that Noosh is one of the guest speakers that comes on the Manifestation Masters Academy. Sorry, the Conscious Creators Masters Academy. It used to be called Manifestation Masters Academy. Which is I'm enrolling again for that now. And you can find out anything about what I do, any of my one-to-one stuff as well in the links below. And I'll put Noosh's stuff below as well if you want to contact her. And maybe you'll come on here again and we'll have another
Oh,
conversation about.
definitely. I mean, it's Corina is amazing. She has come a long way. I would definitely say she's the right person to go to, because she's very aware now, and you have journey really. Because when you have been in it, you can talk with authority. And as I said, I love your authenticity, and you're sort of not sort of trying to uh, make it pretty or anything. You just say it as it
uh,
is and what you have gone, and that's really good. No, that's fantastic, and thank you for asking me to sort of come and talk in your,
Yeah,
whatever you call is a
I'm
good
so
name.
happy. Actually, it's been like, I mean, it's been nearly what? I was 18 or 19 and now I'm 34. So like that's a long time. That's years that we've known each other. So
I
it's
think
really
we have some soul connection somewhere.
Egypt. I'm pretty sure it
Yeah.
was Egypt back in the day. Right. Anyway, thank you for coming on. I'm going to stop recording. And guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.